Hi everyone, I'm Miranda and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing my March Tea and Tattle chats. So in this video I'm going to tell you all about the things that I've been enjoying over March, some of the small things that have made me smile. So to start off, I wanted to share this scarf that was, I think, the last proper sort of out and about shopping purchase I really made before lockdown and all of that started to happen. But it still has made me really happy this month because when it's been a little bit chilly, I've wrapped myself up in this lovely cashmere scarf. It's by Brora and it says "phenomenal woman," which is a quote from the Maya Angelou poem, which is one of my very favourite poems. So I was just so excited when I saw this scarf went on the sale and I just had to have it, and I chose the suffragette colour scheme for it, of course. I mean, I had to. They did also have this in sort of a more of a red and black, maybe, I think, colour scheme, but I wanted the suffragette colours, so it's a bit hard to show it off to you properly in this video, but it's so snuggly and I really love it. So this scarf has been making me really happy. And when I went and interviewed Francesca Wade, the author of Square Haunting, which is a book all about women and Bloomsbury in the interwar years, I wore this scarf and she instantly said to me, "You have a suffragette scarf." So I was really happy that someone else noticed the colours and really appreciated that as well. And then something that's made me really happy this month too is the new Slightly Foxed literary quarterly. Slightly Foxed is a literary magazine. It's a quarterly magazine and it shares articles by writers about memoirs and about essentially backlisted books. So they don't really review modern books generally, but they do share a lot of much loved classics that, I mean, I always get so much inspiration from reading the Slightly Foxed quarterly. It's always full of treasures. Slightly Foxed themselves publish books too. They publish memoirs, and I actually have some behind me up here. They look like this. They're these beautiful cloth-bound little hardbacks, and I love the Slightly Foxed memoirs. I'm a big fan of reading memoirs, but their literary quarterly is also very special. So this is the most recent spring edition. It's number 65, and I've been really enjoying reading it. One of the articles I especially enjoyed was called Walden by the Sea by Richard Platt, and it's about the book called The Outermost House by Henry Beston. And that was funny because I think actually on my YouTube channel, either my YouTube channel or my Instagram, someone commented because I spoke about wanting to read a book called The Easternmost House, and someone commented saying that they'd read The Outermost House. I think that's what it was called. Yes, The Outermost House. And The Easternmost House was inspired by The Outermost House. The Easternmost House is by a British author, and it's about a memoir about her house that was on the sort of furthest east coast of England. Sadly, that house has now been lost to the sea, and The Outermost House is about the house of the author that he built right on the cliffs at Cape Cod. And there's a really good article about The Outermost House in here, and it made me really want to read that book, and I thought it was a funny coincidence because someone had just told me about it too. So anyway, there's always so much that inspires me by the Slightly Foxed Quarterly. If you're a reader, you don't know Slightly Foxed yet, then please do look them up. I'll put a link to Slightly Foxed in the description box down beneath so you can check them out, because yes, their quarterly magazine adds so much joy to my year always, and I've been loving reading this one at the moment. And how stunning is the cover for this one. I think that one's really, really charming. I love the daffodils, and it looks like primroses as well with the foxes, which I think is so beautifully spring-like. So that's been making me very happy. And then also, I did my first mother-daughter book chat on my podcast Tea and Tattle. Just this last Friday I published that episode, and it was so fun to have my mum on the podcast. I normally do a special episode every month where I share some favourite short film fiction, but I also talk about my news and the sort of cultural things I've been enjoying in London. Obviously, I haven't been out and about really at all in London in March, so I thought it'd be fun if my mum joined me on the podcast instead, and we had a chat about the books that we've been reading, and it was such a lovely, cosy chat. I really enjoyed it. My mum will definitely be back on the podcast, but and I'll put a link to that episode, by the way, if you want to have a listen to it. But during that chat together, I spoke about rereading The Children of Green Know by Lucy M. Boston, and my mum reminded me that we actually have this book, which is called The Patchworks of Lucy Boston by Diana Boston. And I'd forgotten that we had this book, so I instantly got it off our shelves after we finished our chat, and this is so beautiful. I have to show you some of the patchworks that Lucy M. Boston created. I mean, she was an amazing writer. You know, her children's books are still classics. Here's another one. But she was also an extremely talented sewer and maker of quilts. And flicking through this has just got me so inspired. I mean, look at the colours in that one. I think those are stunning. And I've loved reading about the quilts that she's made, and it's made me really want to try a bit of hand quilting myself. So I also pulled this book off my shelves. It's Patchwork for Beginners by Sue Pritchard, and I've actually had this book for years because I've always sort of dabbled with the idea of maybe doing patchwork at some point, but I've always thought, you know, it's so time consuming and everything. But I mean, I think this is a good opportunity to start a project like that when we are having to be at home, and why not maybe try and create something beautiful out of this time. I think it'd be really nice if I could actually make something myself, and I think sewing is quite a soothing thing to do. At least I hope it will be. So I thought it'd be fun. I think I'm just going to start with a pin cushion, you know, not a whole bedspread. I'm not going to challenge myself too much. I would actually like to accomplish this. So I'm thinking a pin cushion would be good. So we'll see about that. But this book, for one thing, is really interesting because it gives some of the history of patchwork quilting, and it was so often a communal thing, which is lovely to read about. But yes, they have instructions to make a hexagon pin cushion, so that's what I'm going to start and try and do myself. I've got loads of bits and bobs of fabric that I can use, so I'm looking forward to this. And I know, you know, this has been it is such a difficult time for everyone. I really count my blessings and that I can be at home, but I would like to try and maybe create something that is beautiful from this time, so I can look back and not just remember all the bad stuff, but hopefully create something good as well from this enforced time at home. So we'll see how I do. I'd love to know if any of you patchwork. If you have any tips for me, please let me know, because I'm sure I could do with them. But I've been thinking a lot about domesticity and the domestic arts generally over the past month when I've been at home so much more. And I got this book at the start of the month. It's Jane Austen Embroidery, Authentic Embroidery Projects for Modern Stitchers by Jenny Batchelor and Alison Larkin. And this is such a beautiful book. I love embroidery. I used to do a lot as a teenager. I haven't done much in recent years at all, but I would like to get back into it, and this book is definitely inspiring. It's got some really attractive projects. This month I reread Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Wolseley, which is a lovely biography of Jane Austen, and it specifically focuses on Jane Austen's home life and the types of domestic skills that she had, both cooking and sewing. And she obviously was a very skilled seamstress and embroiderer herself. So this book feels very appropriate. And yes, it's just got some really beautiful projects. So I like these napkins actually a lot. I think how pretty those are. So at the moment I'm just loving flicking through this, but I do have a little cross-stitch kit that is on its way to me from the States. I mean, it's been making its way to me for quite a while, like several weeks I think already. So I don't know if I'll get it, but I hope that I will get it, and I thought it will be a nice project to ease me back into embroidery a little bit. So I'm hoping to get it, and I can maybe move on to a bit more challenging sewing projects that like the ones in here later on. But I have to admit, just love looking at this and reading it because it's so beautiful. And then this book I've also been really enjoying. It's Cath Kidston, A Place Called Home. I mentioned this in my Mother-Daughter Chats Teen Tattle podcast episode 2. And this is just, it's so sort of visually stunning. It's about Cath Kidston's home that she bought after selling the Cath Kidston Company. She bought this beautiful manor house in the Cotswolds and really made it her own. And this is all about the design, the interior design that she did. Sorry, it's a bit hard to show you because it's actually quite a big book, but it's really beautiful. It's more modern than I expected from a Cath Kidston home, but she kept all of her Cath Kidston sort of chintzes for upstairs in the attic, and there's some really beautiful sort of typically Cath Kidston prints and so on upstairs in the home. But it's just beautiful to look through. I can live vicariously through it and pretend I'm actually in the sort of beautiful mansion when I look at this book. And I love Cath Kidston, I love her designs, so it's really interesting to read about some of her interior design vision and the story behind this home. So yes, I've been really enjoying this book as well this month. And then, I don't know about you, but I am obviously washing my hands so much at the moment, and I noticed that because of that my hands are starting to get really dry, especially on the backs, just because I've been really scrubbing, and I haven't been so good about making sure that I'm applying cream, and so I suddenly noticed that my skin was getting really quite dry and rough. And I pulled out my trusty cream that I really recommend. I think you say Ameliorate. And this is a very sort of rich body cream, but I have really quite dry skin generally, especially like on my arms, and I've been using this for a while now, and I really recommend it. If you have a similar problem at the moment, then I do recommend this cream. It's lovely and rich, and it really helps get rid of any dry patches, I find anyway, on my skin. So again, I mean, obviously I'll link all of these things in the description box down below, but I thought some of you might appreciate that tip as well. And then I got this little tin at the start of the month, and it's from Emma Bridgewater. I love Emma Bridgewater. She's a British designer. She does a lot of ceramics, you know, beautiful mugs, but also tins and trays and things like that for the home. And this design I think is called Buttercup. I've been baking a lot this month, and this tin has been really good actually. I mean, I sort of bought it at the start of the month because I actually thought I was going to be going to a party of someone's, and I bought this tin because I was going to bake some brownies and put them in the tin and give it as a gift. But then obviously that got cancelled and everything, and I haven't been able to see that person at all, so I've decided to keep the tin for me and use it for now. And it's such a good size actually. I've been getting a lot of use out of it, so yeah, I thought it was really sweet. I like the little bumblebee right there on it too. And then something else that's been making me really happy this month is I've been ordering fruit and veg boxes, which have been such a lifesaver at this time because I really don't want to go out and grocery shop too much. And it's been so nice being able to order fresh fruit and vegetables to the home, and also to be, you know, supporting those farmers. I think the one that I'm using is called First Choice Produce. I'll put a link to it in the description box. And they normally, I think, supply restaurants, but because so many restaurants are closed at the moment, obviously, they've opened up their deliveries to individual people, at least within London. So I've been really thankful for that, and I ordered a lovely veg and fruit box which arrived the other day, and I was just really pleased with everything. And I've been meaning to properly try fruit and veg boxes for years, and this has finally really spurred me on to do that. So I'm pleased for that, at least, that I've been given the real incentive to actually try one of the fruit and veg box services. And so far I'm really impressed and very grateful for them. But anyway, those are all of the things that have brought me some happiness during this difficult month. I'd love to know about some of the small pleasures that hopefully you've been enjoying lately too. And also, like I said, if any of you have any tips on hand sewing patchwork, please let me know, because I think that would be a really fun project for me over the next month. But thank you so much for watching my video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which you can do by clicking on my face. It pops up around here. But I'll be back again very soon with another video. Bye!